of us here can feel the pains of the parents.
Go into the forests and rescue remaining Tegina students. Niger State Governor tasks security agents. INEC designates 2,600 registration centers for continuous voters registration as journalists undergo training ahead of 2023 elections.
That participants here will take maximum advantage.
Also tonight, CSOs thump up federal government's transparency, accountability and citizens' engagement in disbursement of conditional cash transfer.
This project is touching the poor and the vulnerable.
Good evening, this is NTA Network News. I am Kenan Ima Abodike. We are live in Abuja. Adeola Komiakere joins me from Lagos studio. We begin with our security matters as 15 of the abductees from the Salihu Tanko Islamiyya School, Tegina, have escaped from captivity and are currently taking refuge in Kaduna State. The headmaster of the Islamiyya School, Abubakar Al-Hassan, disclosed this during a meeting with Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello and parents of the abducted children. Hussein Musa reports that the meeting was held at Kagara Emir's Palace.
The students and pupils alongside their teachers were abducted on Saturday, the 29th of May this year. The headmaster of the Islamiyya School, Abubakar Al-Hassan, who confirmed the freedom of the 15 abductees, said he was in touch with one of the teachers who escaped captivity.
When they abducted them together with their teachers, they separated them. They moved the teachers from Niger State to Zamfara State.
Governor Abubakar Sani Bello, who had gone to Kagara to empathize with the parents of the abducted children and Tegida community, said efforts are on to secure the release of those in captivity unharmed.
None of us here can feel the pains of the parents. We can only think. I know they're in pains. We haven't seen their kids for 3 weeks, but we're being very cautious in terms of operations, so that we don't lose innocent lives.
The governor was out of the country since the abduction and just visiting the community for the first time to rekindle their hope on the safe return of their children. From Kagara, Hussein Musa, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello has given the Joint Task Force and Vigilante Group in the state a marching order to go after the bandits and rescue the remaining abducted children and teachers of Salihu Tanko Islamiyya School, Tegina. The governor officially gave the order at Kagara Science College in Rafi local government area of the state, where 27 students, including others who were abducted in February this year. Hussein Musa again reports.
The Joint Task Force include personnel of the Nigerian military, that of police force, security and civil defense corps, as well as vigilantes, are expected to comb the forest and rescue the remaining abducted students of Salihu Tanko Islamiyya Tegina. The state government's visit is to officially support the mission to rescue all those in captivity and bring lasting solution to the incessant insecurity in parts of the state. Governor Abubakar Sani Bello commended the security operatives for their resilience and emphasized the state government's resolve to take a decisive action against the unscrupulous elements terrorizing innocent citizens.
In spite of all the challenges and what have you, they also are excited and committed and pained at what is happening today, not just in Niger State, but in most of the northern parts of the country. And we're all very depressed, sad that it has gotten to a point where we're no longer allowed to live our normal lives by bandits, but we have to try our very best not to make them succeed.
The governor, who condoled with the families of over 20 vigilantes killed in an attack at Magama local government area of the state, promised the combined security outfits of prompt payment of their allowances. Hussein Musa, NTA News.
Now, troops of Sector 2 Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hiding K in conjunction with Air Task Force have eliminated more than 20 Boko Haram and Islamic State West Africa Province ISWAP terrorist group on Sunday. The terrorists were camping around Woltec in the general area of Lamboa Forest in Borno State. A statement by the Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu says, acting on credible intelligence, troops with close air support from the Nigerian Air Task Force component swiftly carried out a simultaneous land and air offensive, penetrating deep into Lamboa Forest in Borno State. Several arms were captured while others were destroyed. The Nigerian Army operatives under Operation Hadarin Daji in Zamfara State has intercepted 12 trucks loaded with more than 150 rustled cows and arrested 44 collaborators in connection with the crime. The Deputy Force Commander, Operation Hadarin Daji, in charge of the Northwest Air Commander, Abubakar Abdul Qadir, while handing over the recovered animals to the Zamfara state government, says the military will continue to be more aggressive in fighting the spate of insecurity bedeviling the region. Jamilu Ibrahim has more.
The 44 suspects were arrested by operatives of the Operation Hadarin Daji while conveying 154 cows, 1 camel and 1 ram in trucks on their way to Gusau, the Zamfara state capital. They were intercepted shortly after leaving the popular Ertasha Animals Market in Gusau local government area of the state.
For about 5 days now, we've been tracking these animals. We've instructed our troops to lay ambush for those animals, and eventually the 11 trucks came into the location where our troops were, and they finally picked them and brought them down here.
It was later discovered that each of the intercepted cows was bought by the collaborators at a giveaway price of between 30,000 and 40,000 naira from the suspected cattle rustlers in the area who are still at large. The Deputy Force Commander says the Operation Hadarin Daji will continue to be more aggressive in fighting banditry in Zamfara State and the Northwest geopolitical zone as a whole. Secretary of the committee set up by Zamfara State government on recovery of rustled animals, Bashar Melafia, commended the military for the feat. He said the committee will look for the rightful owners of the recovered animals for their onward delivery to them. Meanwhile, the Deputy Force Commander, Operation Hadarin Daji, in charge of the Northwest Geopolitical Zone, Air Commander Abubakar Abdul Qadir, says the 44 suspected collaborators will be handed over to the police for further action. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
Away from insecurity, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has commended the Jigawa State government for embracing the federal government's Agric Revolution program, which is a signpost of success, making the state one of the most peaceful across the country. The minister said this in Birnin Kudu, Jigawa State, when he led a federal government delegation to inspect Malam Alu Agro-Allied Farm in the state. Anthony Forsin has the details.
An integrated agro-allied center with a basic principle to collect, process, and deliver healthy consumable and economical farm produce in response to the needs and expectations of customers. In this greenhouse is a variety of tomatoes. Lau Farm also blends its own fertilizer, first of its kind in Jigawa State. Conducting the minister and his entourage round, the chairman said the farm has the capacity to produce up to 50 tons of tomato. One star attraction on the farm is the first tallest flagpole in Nigeria, standing at 50 meters high. The flag itself is 20 meters long. Understanding that national flags are symbols that inspire pride, patriotism, and allegiance in citizens, Farouk Adamu Aliu's feat in contributing to nation building is immeasurable, as it key into the President Muhammad Buhari-led administration's focus.
This project is a clear testimony to the success of the agricultural revolution embarked upon by President Muhammad Buhari. As His Excellency the Governor of Jigawa said during our courtesy visit this morning, said at least 2 programs of this administration, the Anchor Porous Program and the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative, have succeeded in revolutionizing agriculture in Nigeria. And I think there's no better testimony to that than what we have seen today at Malam Alu Agro-Allied Farm.
There is CAC too, for those people who wants to build a factory. And that support has been there and many are enjoying. And on the rice millers, you get CACs to set up a factory, and you get paddy aggregation, money to buy paddy, working capital. What else can the president do to enhance business activity and agricultural activity?
For Farouk Adamu Aliu, his passion for Nigeria and its greatness, as is being championed by President Muhammad Buhari, is his driving force.
We, as true citizens of this country, decided to, in furtherance of the call by Mr. President, to ensure that we go back to farm, grow what we eat what we grow, decided to put this investment.
The Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Malam Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, who led other chief executive officers of parastatals under the Federal Ministry of Information, described Farouk Adamu Aliu's patriotic zeal as uncommon.
Let me express my appreciation and my pride in being a witness to history. The history is the tallest flagpole in Nigeria, and it is right here in Jigawa State. I would like to commend the initiator of this project, my good friend.
In Benin Kudu, Jigawa State, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
In another development, Jigawa State Governor Mohammed Abubakar says President Muhammad Buhari's leadership qualities and ability to maintain fairness is the driving force behind the successes the country is recording. The governor stated this when he received an audience Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed in Dutse, the Jigawa State capital. Mohammed Musa Askira has details.
Governor Muhammadu Badru Abubakar, while expressing satisfaction with the leadership qualities of President Muhammadu Buhari, was emphatic about the president's just disposition in supporting state governors who were trapped in financial difficulties and could not pay salaries, while debts were crippling many of them.
With the support of President Muhammadu Buhari, we were able, all governors of the state, to weather the storm.
Apart from financial bailout, the President Muhammadu Buhari's agricultural revolution has transformed Jigawa State into a key player in the agricultural sector.
We thank President Muhammadu Buhari immensely for this project. In addition to making water available for all year farming, it has resolved to some extent the problem of flooding that we encounter year in, year out.
The effort of the governor in ensuring that the peasant farmers are assisted, and because they are assisted and they are able to make ends meet, that has calmed down a lot of nerves.
Earlier, the Information and Culture Minister has visited the palace of Emir of Dutse, Dr. Nuhu Muhammad Sadusi.
I want to urge you in your capacity as one of the top ministers in this country to continue to support agriculture.
The Emir, however, appealed to the minister to consider making the Dutse Emirate Museum a national asset. Lai Mohammed equally assured the Emir of his willing to consider the Emir's request. The Information and Culture Minister is visiting Jigawa State with a high-powered delegation of chief executives of parastatals under his ministry, among whom is the Director General of the NTA, Malam Yakubu Ibn Mohammed. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated the newly elected Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi. A statement from the presidency quoted the president as saying the election has once again reinforced the centrality of the will of the people to the success of democracy anywhere in the world. President Buhari urges Iranians to brush political differences aside and support Raisi to succeed in efforts to help the country overcome its challenges, including the impact of COVID-19 pandemic and the crippling sanctions imposed on the country. Also, President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated former Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase on his 65th birthday. President Buhari, in a statement, acknowledged the reforms brought to police by the former inspector and wished him more fruitful life. Welcome back. As we now tell you that preparations have been concluded in more than 2,600 registration centers nationwide for the commencement of the continuous voter registration exercise June 28. INEC Chairman Professor Mohammed Yakubu told media executives of the Commission's readiness in an interagency consultative meeting in Abuja. Mia Ogidi reports.
Hands-on information even has a keyboard.
2,673 of this device will be a common sight from June 28 in 2,673 registration centers with 5,300 staff. First online pre-registration window period of 14 days to complete, and those that don't have access to internet, manual process is also an alternative.
We intend to undertake the CVR exercise over a period of at least 1 year. There will be new registrants, requests for intrastate and interstate transfers, as well as the replacement of cards as provided by law.
Nigeria is the only country we have. At all times, the present crop of media professionals, I can assure you, will be available to give you the necessary support.
20 million new voters is what INEC is targeting, while the registration will end August 2022. Mia Ogidi, NTA News.
I'm still talking politics. To enhance the capacity of journalists for the 2023 general election in Nigeria, selected broadcast journalists from the South, West, Southeast and South-South parts of the country are undergoing a 2-day training on electoral and broader governance programming. The training program holding in Akure is at the instance of Nigeria Association of Women Journalists NAWOJ, Ondo State, and facilitated by the Institute for Media and Society. Abiola Ario has details.
Members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm from both public and private broadcast media all gathered in Akure to equip themselves and deepen their knowledge on electoral and broader governance programming ahead of the 2023 general elections.
The very rich participation of female journalists in this activity, it is a conscious arrangement for marginalized or underserved groups, such as women, to enhance their improved participation.
We can also learn from this training workshop that we also enhance our professional capacity.
It is very good for us to start early to prepare ourselves, to train ourselves and retrain ourselves, so that when it is time for the election, we go out there and discharge our duties professionally.
Knowledge acquisition is the only thing that can enhance professionalism, particularly in a very tricky profession like journalism.
This workshop will facilitate, will allow you to have new areas, new grounds.
Though training and capacity building for journalists is part of activities to mark the Ondo NAWOJ Week 2021. In Akure, Abiola Ario, NTA News.
President Muhammad Buhari wants Nigerian youth to optimally explore his youth-friendly programs as foundation to fast-track their desire for political leadership. At a maiden All Progressives Congress Youth Conference held in Abuja, the president urged them to aspire for a better future by being worthy ambassadors of a united Nigeria. Salihu Abdullahi Banara reports.
As the flags fly high outside of the International Conference Center, so is the ambition and expectations of the APC youth. The Governor Maimala Buni-led Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee is behind this platform to engage the youth with party leadership and stakeholders in its quest to develop a blueprint for youth development and engagement in Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari, represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, said the main purpose of forming APC is to breed progressive youth that will secure the country, and described this gesture as a timely rebuilding process of the APC.
This conference is therefore very timely, coming up not too long after our party membership registration exercise and just before the commencement of congresses starting from our wards. So I'm quite confident that our deliberations today will have a notable impact on the party's activities and even trickle down to my administration.
The conference agreed that the time is now for a youth revolution politically, but with a guiding principle to identify those that will uphold the democratic ethos of the Buhari administration in fighting corruption, boosting the economy, and tackling insecurity beyond 2023.
I also want to assure you that the committee is making great efforts to approach the proposed congresses and convention with support, trust, and confidence of all members.
The party has transformed itself under the leadership of the National Caretaker Committee Chairman, but more importantly, the votes are with young people.
The next generation of leaders must try to eradicate massive corruption in the public sector. And I want to say that Nigeria is moving in the right direction.
It is therefore my sincere hope that these aims and objectives are achieved and implemented accordingly for the benefit of our party.
If in our own time and generation we have failed, may you never fail in your generation.
It is the first conference of the APC Youth since the formation of the party 8 years ago. And like the theme, the future is a decision, the youth have launched the Progressive Youth Councils as strategy to decide for the future. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Now, President Muhammad Buhari has appointed George Abang Ebungur as the Secretary of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The appointment is for a fresh tenure of 5 years. Also appointed as board members of the commission are Lukman Mohammed, Anumba Adeze Southeast, Kola Rahim Additional North Central, and Yahya Mohammed Northeast. A statement for the Ministry of Justice says the appointments are in line with Section 2, Subsection 1 and Section 4 of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Act 2004. In Borno State, health, housing and humanitarian interventions are three critical areas that have received priority attention of the Professor Zulum-led administration, where the governor himself assumes the role of Chief Humanitarian Officer. Mohammed Goni in this special report takes a look at developmental efforts of Professor Zulum administration in three key areas in the last 2 years of stewardship.
Healthcare facilities and housing have no doubt constituted a significant number of the 556 projects executed by Governor Babagana Umar Zulum-led administration in the last 2 years in Borno. Projects have been executed in both primary and secondary healthcare levels, where general hospitals have been reconstructed and equipped in all local government headquarters, while medical and other health workers redeployed to ensure accessible and affordable healthcare service delivery.
The most important thing is the primary healthcare system. Somebody might wonder why we are building a lot of primary healthcare system. It's a deliberate attempt by this administration to strengthen the primary healthcare delivery system. We have built the system, but in the next 2 years, what shall we do? We shall recruit qualified health personnel.
In line with the policy of bringing all primary health care under one roof, the Governor Zulum-led administration has rehabilitated existing facilities, constructed 37 new primary health care centers and maternal health care facilities across the state, which are also fully equipped with medical equipment and other requirements with health personnel deployed. The idea was to relieve the secondary health care facilities, most of whom have been overstretched, as well as to take health care delivery service to the doorsteps of the citizens. In the area of housing, the Professor Zulum-led administration in the last 2 years has continued to rebuild ravaged communities to resettle IDPs and refugees in their communities of origin to enable them return to normal life. Communities such as Ajiri in Mafa, Kauri and Auno, both in Kandiga local government area, as well as New Marte in Marte local government, among others, have been rebuilt, and residents and IDPs already resettled in the period under review, while rebuilding work is ongoing in Gorosoye and Banki in Bama local government, as well as communities in Goza local government area, such as Warabe, Ngoshe and Ashigashia, among others, to enable people return home. In addition, Governor Zilm recently inaugurated 500 houses at Aunu in Kandagalekal government and allocated same to IDPs as part of efforts to close down camps by the end of this year, and further inaugurated 200 houses in Chibok town and laid foundation stone for construction of 300 houses at Rimirgo village in Askira Ubalekal government area, in line with the urbanization policy of the state government, under which selected communities in Monguno, Gubio, Biu, Kaga and Mapalekal government areas have been captured in the first phase of the project. Professor Bagana Umara, since assumption of office, assumed the role of Chief Humanitarian Officer, traversing nook and crannies of Borno and beyond the national border to render humanitarian support to the over 2 million people displaced by the decade-long insurgency, as well as vulnerable members of the host communities, where he spent days personally supervises distribution of food and non-food items, even as he consoled the people over their plight, assuring them of his determination to return them to their ancestral home to start a new life. Governor Bagana Umara has always acknowledged support of the federal government through its agencies such as Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, NEMA, Northeast Development Commission and the Custom, as well as well-meaning Nigerians. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
Now, television audience in Nigeria are in for a new treat with a new partnership between the Nigerian Television Authority and Akika Media Group to change programming, news and others to suit the global practices and the needs of the audience. Abdusalam Jibril reports.
It has been the first and the largest in Africa for many years, but the Nigerian Television Authority is still working to serve the Nigerian and global audience. Apart from facilities, capacity of personnel is also built. Tokwe Alagbala is a producer from NTA's Lagos Network Center who is participating in this two-day workshop to achieve the new objectives.
The technology is advancing, and each day, every day, every time, something new is coming. So it's also there's a part of the training that is also telling us to also how to key into technology, how to key into new development.
We have to go on what is called the second screen now. Technology is key. Like you have so many digital media platforms where if you have a content and you package it very well, you can as well have your content stay and generate money.
The importance with which the management attached to the new course informed the presence of all executive directors at the opening of the workshop.
I implore you to be very attentive. Learn everything that is going to be taught, because NTA will depend on you ultimately to actualize this objective.
Akika Media Group, a media consortium that has been a major player in the industry, is coming in handy in this mission. In Abuja, Abdusalam Jibril, NTA News.
Let's join Adeola in our Lagos studio for more reports. Over to you, Adeola.
Thank you, Kenny. In view of the importance of hydrographic survey to maritime safety and by extension international trade, coastal nations and agencies with charting resources must work together for the sake of standard and more mapped channels. This is one of the major talking points as Nigerian Navy joins the world to mark 2021 World Hydrography Day. Adeniyi Taiwo completes the report.
Navigating the uncharted water of 1912, the ship, the Titanic, did not have the benefit of technology, but only had lookouts to check ahead for danger. We all know how that ended. This is year 2021, and it's been 100 years of hydrographic survey and all its silent but indispensable impact on life and living. Hydrographic information refers to scientific study of the physical features of water needed to ensure safe navigation of the ocean. After about 45 years of becoming a member state of the International Hydrographic Organization, the Nigerian Navy stepped up its capacity to conduct the surveys and production of charts by acquiring its first hydrographic ship, NNS Lano. The celebration, which began with an opening ceremony in IHO office in Monaco, France, to the Nigerian Navy Hydrographic Office, Lagos, the consensus is that more cooperation among coastal charting nations and agencies with hydrographic functions is needed.
There's still a lot of work to be done to expand coverage and to maintain quality of hydrographic data.
Effective hydrographic practice will ensure adequate chart coverage of about 84,000 square nautical miles of Nigeria's territorial waters and ultimately provide up-to-date nautical products to drive Nigeria's blue economy project.
Contract has already been awarded for another vessel, 35-meter vessel that can work side by side this.
Nigeria became the 52nd member state of the IHO in 1976. In Lagos, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
Trade and migrant operations have fully resumed since the lift of ban on the Seme land border. Uzezi Arure reports that the Nigerian Customs Service and Immigration have joined forces to ensure that travelers operate in compliance with all protocols.
The cross-border flow between Nigeria and Benin Republic dates back to pre-colonization period. History records that the cultural and economic relations between the two countries has extensive roots in migration with common links of trade and geographical influence.
I'm from Benin Republic and I want to travel to Lagos. Nigeria forces like police, custom and other people, they attend to you.
After the lift of ban on Nigeria land border in December 2020, the Nigerian Customs Service forwarded guidelines for the commencement of inter-trade activities, which include directives that goods on transit from third world nations through Seme land border must arrive Nigeria in its original form. This is being adhered to. However, this transit protocols does not apply to ECOWAS countries.
From the time of opening of this border to date, we have processed 1,059 trucks. Goods that normally are on exports to other countries from Nigeria were able to treat 2,487 trucks. Then for goods under imports and baggage, we have treated 179 trucks.
We still have some challenges with Benin Republic. They are still charging us what they charged us when the system was in the old fashion. Now that we are doing normal clearing, the proper clearing of just as what is happening in Lagos Port, with what they are still collecting as their transit charge, which is actually not a transit charge in Cotonou, is an added cost to the landing cost of those goods in the market.
While a number of goods have begun to come in through the border, petty traders, on the other hand, carry out their activities with enthusiasm and hope of better days. The migration of people through Seme border is also not restricted, as long as the migrants provide valid travel documents and follow all necessary transit and COVID-19 protocols.
Nigerian Immigration Service recently installed MIDAS equipment, migration information data analysis system. So when you appear before immigration, your data, is taken and it's for record purpose so that it can easily be retrieved in case the need arises.
As the Nigerian government seeks to bolster domestic agriculture, Seme border will continue to be a route for trade and regional economic integration as the migration of people creates more friendly ties. In Lagos, Uzezi Arure, NTA News.
Welcome back. The Center for Health Education Rehabilitation and Social Security, in collaboration with other non-governmental organizations, have commended the federal government for opening its door to transparency, accountability, as well as citizen engagement and the disbursement of the conditional cash transfer. Morojanatu Adam Said reports that the commendation was made during a strategic meeting in Abuja.
Independent text, the Center for Health Education, Rehabilitation and Social Security chairs took up for itself, touring 19 states, taking stock, talking to more than 23,500 beneficiaries of the federal government National Social Cash Transfer Program.
The CSOs cannot come and champion something that is not going on. This project is touching the poor and the vulnerable.
In that you also have families who, even though are identified as poor and vulnerable, are able to go to school. Some, we know with the universal basic education, primary school up to JSS3 is free.
The monitoring exercise over, time now is to give account. Going forward, more room for improvement, and the federal government note all the observation with great excitement.
To showcase social accountability, which is something that we hold very dear. We think this is a pace-setter project by the national government and working closely with the World Bank. We think that this should be leveraged by other projects to ensure that there is better transparency.
According to this, members of CSOs only transfer the cash to people who married in Abuja. Marijana to Adam Said, NTA News.
You're watching NTA News at 9.